his budget.
Yeah.
Ownership and infrastructure investment. And demand is growing today. There are more than 1,000 EVs on the road in Skokie, a 60% increase from a year ago, helping us reduce community-wide greenhouse gas emissions by more than 4,600 metric tons annually. The village currently operates 4 public EV charging stations, including the village's first accessible charging station just down the street at Oakton and La Crosse. We plan to add 4 to 5 new stations this fiscal year to keep up with the growing demand. I'd like to acknowledge our Public Works Department, our Village Manager's Office, and our entire sustainability team, which includes staff from every village department, for leading the charge on Skokie's adoption of EVs.
Yeah.
And I especially wish to thank Governor Pritzker, our legislative and trustee officials, our great partners at ComEd and at the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus for helping Skokie become a leader in sustainability. And I'd like to add just a personal note here. It was only about this time a year ago that Governor Pritzker was at the Illinois Science and Technology Park announcing the regional vision for sustainability and for the infrastructure improvement for our region. If you drive around Skokie in the North Shore, it will take you a lot of patience because of the construction. And Governor, it's because of you and your leadership and that of our legislators that we are finally getting our infrastructure back in order. We know there's more to do, but we're on the road to achieving those goals. ComEd has been a tremendous supporter of the village's transition to electric vehicles. And now it's my very great pleasure to introduce our friend, the ComEd CEO, Gil Quinones. Gil?
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning, everyone. We're fortunate to be joined by so many state and local leaders today. The Mayor, of course, Governor Pritzker, Geneva Mayor Kevin Burns, who is the chair of politics. He's joined, by the way, here by other local mayors who serve on the caucus's executive board. The Respiratory Health Association, our chairman of the Illinois Commerce Commission, Doug Scott, and Commissioner Paradis are here with us, and a number of members of the General Assembly. Your presence here demonstrates how deeply you prioritize the growth of EVs and all the benefits that come with it. For years, we have talked about electric vehicles as the future of transportation, but increasingly, EVs are the mode of transportation in the present day. It's happening because we have worked together on creating an ecosystem where EVs can thrive. In 2019, just imagine, there were only 19,000 EVs in Illinois. Today, there are more than 111,000 EVs in the state of Illinois. Since we at ComEd launched our EV rebate programs in February of this year, we have seen the percentage of monthly EV registrations in our region double. Today, in northern Illinois, 12% of the new vehicles registered are EVs on a monthly average basis. That's higher than the 9.6% rate nationally. This is really a fulfillment of Governor Pritzker's vision. The Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, or CEJA, is a nation-leading law containing a set of bold initiatives and ambitions, such as the target of putting 1 million EVs on the road by 2030. In addition to CEJA, Governor Pritzker signed the REV Act into law, attracting companies across the EV supply chain to invest and locate in Illinois. Since then, we've seen manufacturing companies invest in Illinois, bringing new jobs and tax revenue. Just last week, a global EV components manufacturer opened its new headquarters in Lake County. So the vision is coming to life. And it's because of partnership. The governor and the state have inspired a shared vision and have set the tone. As part of CEJA, ComEd was empowered to create a beneficial electrification plan in partnership with the Illinois Commerce Commission that would promote EV adoption and empower customers to add EVs and chargers, including our very own communities. For that plan to work, we would need a strong partner, and we have one in the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, or MMC. 2 years ago, ComEd teamed up with MMC to launch the EV Readiness Program. After all, communities are on the front lines of implementing plans for EV. Today, we've been assisting municipalities with developing local infrastructure plans, permitting, and policies to prepare for the rise in EVs. Skokie joined the inaugural cohort and was designated EV Ready through the program. In fact, Skokie was the very first one that was certified as the EV Ready municipality. Under Mayor Van Dusen, the village government recognized it had a leadership role to play in transitions to EVs. ComEd offers a fleet electrification assessment, and Skokie was the first community to take advantage of it. This puts Skokie on a path to take advantage of ComEd's rebates to support the transition to a more electrified fleet. And today, I'll be presenting the mayor with a $45,000 check to offset the purchase of 6 new electrical municipal vehicles. This is just one example of the hundreds of customer-driven EV projects we are funding, from residential to business to local government fleet plans, as we are celebrating here today. Through our EV investments, ComEd is awarding nearly $90 million in EV-related rebates this year. More cities and more businesses should take advantage of the rebates we offer for both EVs and home chargers. And I hope our residential customers take advantage of the thousands of dollars in state and federal rebates available to reduce the cost of passenger EVs. Illinois can be the state where we make EVs and where we drive EVs. Illinois can be the national leader in the transition to a cleaner, more electrified future. And communities like Skokie are showing the way. So thank you, Mayor Van Dusen, for your leadership, and thank you to our partners at the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. With that, I'd like to pass the microphone to the leader who has put us in the fast lane and has positioned our state to create jobs and spur economic development by building an EV ecosystem in our state. So please join me in welcoming our great governor of the great state of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you. I'm not as quippy a punster as some of the others, so I won't be talking about fast charging or fast lane anyway, but I am so proud to be here in Skokie today. And this really is a special day. I know that the mayor did not even have to order up a day like this, because for all of you who don't spend a lot of time in Skokie, it's like this all year round. So think about moving to Skokie, right, Mr. Mayor? It really is a pleasure to be here and to be back here in Skokie. I often feel like I used to live not very far away, just a couple of miles, and I spent a lot of time here. So these days, of course, with all the duties of governor, I don't get to come to Skokie as often as I'd like, but it is great to see all of you and to enjoy a great day outdoors here. I want to thank a few people. You've heard some of their names, but I have maybe a little comment about each, if I may. Of course, my friend, Mayor George Van Dusen, who I think now I have known him for 40 years. I think we're almost at 40, 35 years maybe, but somebody I've looked up to for a long time. He's a great leader of this community, and he's worked tirelessly for 40 years on behalf of the people of Skokie. Geneva Mayor Kevin Burns, thank you for your leadership. Where are you? There you go. But especially because you're leading the way for other municipalities and showing them what they can do on the energy and electrification front. Brian Urbashevsky from the Respiratory Health Association, who's always a great partner as we think about, clean air for the state of Illinois. And my partners in the General Assembly, Senator Fine, Senator Willy Wallum, Representative Gong Gershowitz, Representative Kevin Olekal, thank you. They really are great leaders in Springfield that I get to work with. These are the folks who make it happen. I get to sign the bills that they pass, and so I really feel like what a great partnership we've had to help shape an ambitious climate response for the state of Illinois. And of course, Gil, you and your team at ComEd committed to working to expand power generation and transmission here in the state while reducing greenhouse emissions, and that's an important thing for your local utility to have as at the forefront of their mission. 6 years ago, Illinois was well behind our peer states in responding to the climate crisis. So in my first month in office in 2019, I issued an executive order declaring Illinois as the newest member of the U.S. Climate Alliance. You may recall that President Trump had pulled us out of the Paris Climate Accords. And so those of us who believe that it's important to have this at the forefront of policy across the United States chose to join the U.S. Climate Alliance. And I also pledged to put the full weight of state government behind bringing our state into the clean energy future. Our goal wasn't just to catch up, though, and some of you know me, I'm a sort of a competitive sort. And so, as with all things, I wanted, and frankly the General Assembly wanted, Illinois to be a leader in fighting climate change while creating new clean energy jobs. For almost 2 years, the General Assembly and my team worked together with stakeholders across the state to put together and to pass one of the boldest pieces of climate and clean energy legislation in the entire country, the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. It wasn't easy. There were an awful lot of meetings, awful lot of passion. We had utilities, small and large, at the table. We had advocates and so on. But thanks to CEJA, the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, we've reduced carbon emissions, we've removed pollutants from the air, we've massively expanded our investment in renewable energy, attracted and grown new businesses and jobs, and prepared our workforce for the green jobs of the future with equity as a guiding principle of that law. With a goal of reaching 100% clean energy by 2050, we knew that meeting that challenge would require us to leverage every bit of creativity and hard work that the people of Illinois had to give. We needed to work collaboratively with local governments, with the private sector, community organizations, unions, and more. So look around you today. This is that vision in action. The Skokie Fleet Electrification Program is a sterling example of what smart, sensible environmental policy looks like. And through their partnership with ComEd, the Village of Skokie is improving the quality of life for its residents, responsibly stewarding taxpayer dollars, and working to leave its residents' children and grandchildren better and more sustainable environment, a better and more sustainable environment. Paired with its already robust public transit infrastructure and ambitious carbon reduction goals, Skokie is an example to other municipalities of how to fight the climate crisis affordably and aggressively. Today is also another step forward for our electric vehicle industry here in Illinois. Electric vehicles are cleaner and cheaper when you look at the total cost of ownership. Often people think about just the sticker price at the front end, looking at the cost of electrification, but the reality is that when you think about the costs over a number of years of owning that vehicle, much cheaper and better for our environment. And those vehicles can reliably serve critical public functions. An all-electric fleet of public works, police, and fire department vehicles is a clear indication that the EV future has arrived for municipalities. Meeting our climate goals is a responsibility we have to future generations to leave behind a livable planet. But it's also an opportunity to provide good jobs and benefits for our people and to build smarter and more efficient communities. As one of the very first municipalities to receive the beneficial electrification plan rebate, Skokie deserves commendation for seizing this opportunity. I hope others will do that. And I want to say to the mayor of Skokie, the village leaders, and the residents of this village, thank you for your work to step up and meet this moment in history. Skokie will become a model of sustainability for local governments as we work toward a clean energy future for all of Illinois. So with that, I am very, very pleased to turn over the podium to a real leader, the chairman of the Environment and Energy Committee for the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, and a tremendous advocate for the people of Geneva, Illinois, Mayor Kevin Burns. Mayor.
If anyone has any SPF, I'll give you $1,000 for it.
How about if I shade you?
You do mind? Sorry to break rank there. Governor Pritzker, Mayor Van Dusen, trustees of the Village of Skokie, General Assembly members, Chairman Scott, Commissioner Paradis, my friend Gil Kionis from ComEd. Ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure it is for me to be here this morning representing the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. The caucus is an organization that represents 275 plus communities in northeastern Illinois, representing more than 8.6 million people. It is a nonpartisan, policy-driven organization. Our work is simple. It is effective, it is transformative, and as the governor and Gil and the mayor has said, it is always equity-driven. We advance a common policy objective that serves our diverse region, utilizing our experienced and our expert professional staff and partners with external organizations to leverage the promise of collaboration and strive to make life a little bit better for the communities and the residents that call the Chicagoland region home. Such work includes, as we've heard, among the many initiatives the MMC takes, is for preparing communities for EV readiness. As indicated, Skokie, one of the first 12 in the cohort, joins nearly 30 communities that have been deemed EV ready through the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus and ComEd's program. Just last week, August 23rd, we hosted another 12 communities at our partner, Argonne National Laboratory in Lamont. The thoughtful planning actions that we take at the local level complements the knowledge and innovation that Argonne National Laboratory, ComEd, and so many partners throughout the industry contribute at the regional and national level. Most notably, to ensure equitable access to EVs, ComEd's programs reserve over 50% of the $90 million Gil spoke of to equity investment eligible communities throughout Illinois. ComEd, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, EV charging infrastructure organizations, mayors, professional staff, and citizen advocate groups work alongside each other to achieve this important distinction and designation by identifying, advancing, and achieving meaningful and impactful program changes, including, but not limited to, zoning and permitting changes, policy adoption, and training of our first responders and professional staff. This morning, we celebrate the results of such synergy, something the caucus pursues every day, and we congratulate Mayor Van Dusen and his team here in the beautiful village of Skokie. We proudly congratulate all who participated and made this day possible, and on behalf of the caucus, on behalf of the city of Geneva, your sister city to the west, congratulations, Skokie, and thank you all for being with us. Congratulations, sir. Well, it's my pleasure now to turn the microphone over to my friend Brian Rebate, who has some words regarding the important work he does. Sir?
Thank you, Mayor Kevin. My name is Brian Rebate, and I'm the Director of Environmental Health Programs for Respiratory Health Association. We were founded in 1906 in Chicago, and we work to prevent lung disease, promote clean air, and help people live better through education, research, and policy change. This is truly a day to celebrate. Everybody here survived 99 degrees last week. But we also have some sobering news. Worldwide, every month since June of 2023 has been the hottest on record. 2023 was the warmest year on record since global records began in 1850. And last year, the temperatures exceeded the 1.5 degree target that the Paris Climate Agreement is supposed to prevent. We are all slowly being cooked. That is harming people's health here. Last summer, we saw horrific air quality in Chicagoland. And one day, we actually had the worst air quality in the entire world. It was driven by global warming, turning Canadian forests into tinder, and then those forests went up in flames. That smoke then traveled thousands of miles to here. And because of the wildfire smoke and the emissions from the millions of vehicles here in the Chicagoland area, we saw 37 days last summer where the air quality in this region failed to meet minimal health standards. That makes people sick. It especially impacts people living with lung diseases like asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and other chronic lung and heart conditions. It means more medication use and expense, lost days from work and school, ER visits, hospitalizations, and deaths. They all increase with air pollution. We are extremely thankful that with the leadership from the governor, the Clean and Equitable Jobs Act that underpins this ComEd program was made law. Thank you, Governor. We are especially supportive of this program that helps ease the transition to zero-emission electric vehicles, and we encourage other communities and businesses to apply for these electric truck and bus rebates, particularly entities in lower-income at-risk communities. Those communities face the highest burdens of sickness from air pollution while having the fewest resources to deal with the threat. This program puts those resources where they provide the greatest benefit. Now, the petroleum industry is suing to eliminate federal programs that would get electric cars and trucks on our roads faster. Given the state of the courts, that could erase the main path of getting more EVs on the road nationwide. It would present huge challenges to Illinois electric vehicle businesses like Rivian, Lion Electric, Stellantis, and others that have made huge investments and plan to invest billions more in Illinois, providing good-paying green jobs for thousands of Illinois residents while cleaning the air we all need to breathe and survive. Programs like this and the leaders you see here today are at the start of a very long journey. To get to 1 million EVs on Illinois roads and beyond, we need to adopt more ambitious policies in Illinois that accelerate the number of electric cars and trucks on Illinois roads. We need to ensure that people have options that are preferable to driving, a robust regional transit system, and ways to walk and roll. And we need to ensure that our transportation system gets to net zero emissions by 2050. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. This is the start of a great story that will continue over many years. Thank you all for being here, and I'm going to turn the podium back to Gil Quinones.
Mr. Mayor, now it's time for us to present the check to you. If I can ask one of our board of directors, Smita Shah, and our Chief Operating Officer, Dave Perez, to join us also in the check presentation.
Stand behind you.
Yes.
Maybe the mayor.
Mayor on the other side. Yeah. We're all part. Yeah, we're all part of this.
Brian, you should be farther up.
Big paper checks are never bad.
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah? Okay. I'm part of that. Those are the good things. Can we just go back to our exit?
That's great. Yeah. I'm happy to take a few questions from members of the media. I've got obviously the leaders here as well for anything about the program, Skokie, and electrification.
So on Friday, federal judge in Rockford ruled a section of the Illinois concealed carry law unconstitutional. It was the section that prohibits concealed carry license holders from carrying guns on public transportation. What's your reaction to the judge?
Well, unfortunately, many of the conservative judges who've been appointed have misunderstood what it means to uphold public safety. And, we still believe in the Second Amendment. It's part of the Constitution that you have rights as a result of the Second Amendment, but there are limitations to that. I mean, just to give one example, the right to bear arms, it's not the right to a shoulder-fired missile, as one example. There are limitations on the kinds of weapons and the places that we need to. Would we allow people to carry an AR-15 into the White House? No. So it's clear that there are some misguided decisions that get made at the circuit court level, the federal court level, and I'm hoping that it'll be overturned along the way. If it has to go all the way to the Supreme Court, it'll be disappointing if they uphold this, but I'm hopeful that the law that was passed in Illinois a number of years ago that's frankly done a lot to keep people safe will be upheld.
And also, on a separate gun law, September 16th, a federal judge in the Southern District of Illinois is going to hear arguments over the Illinois assault weapons ban. It's the case on its merits. This same judge ruled that law unconstitutional when it was in its preliminary injunction phase. So now the case is on its merits. This very well could be the case that maybe eventually goes to the U.S. Supreme Court. We don't know, but just want to hear your thoughts reflecting on that, and also, are you and your administration gearing for another long road ahead as the legal challenge goes into that phase?
Well, as you know, my administration doesn't act as the attorney for the state. The Attorney General does. And I have a great deal of faith in our really great Attorney General, Kwame Raoul, who has defended the state in every one of these cases. But I'd make the same remark about that case as I would about the Rockford case, which is, there are misguided judges who are making decisions that I think are inappropriate and do not hold dear public safety the way that we do. And so I'm hopeful that that will get overturned at the decision will get made in mid-September the right way. But if it doesn't, that it'll get overturned by higher courts. Yes. Hi, Isabel.
Why didn't you go to the Des Moines State Fair?
I would have loved to. I honestly had such a busy schedule. And as you know, I worked about 20 hours every day of the convention and a few days before and even the day after. So it was just very difficult for me to travel. I love the Des Moines State Fair, and I've been to it every year except this year. And I'm usually there at least for the ribbon cutting and usually for the parade, but just couldn't make it this year. But again, as you know, we've made massive investments in the DuQuoin Fairgrounds, as we did in the Springfield Fairgrounds. And I'm a big believer that it's a source of commerce for people in Southern Illinois, and it's something that we ought to keep building. It's had record attendance, and I hope we'll keep that record going.
Are you planning to go down to Southern Illinois soon?
Oh, I go to Southern Illinois all the time. Please go look at my calendar. And actually, the probably some of the most recent have been visits to places where we're either on the way to bringing new business into Southern Illinois. So, I've been visiting those sites with some of the prospective investors in Illinois, or to help companies that are in Southern Illinois to expand so that we can create more jobs, because that really is the focus of my attention to a large degree in Southern Illinois, jobs and investing in our education system in Southern Illinois as it is around the state. But I often think that particularly higher education, community college and universities in Central and Southern Illinois get forgotten, and I have not forgotten them. Yes. Those are great glasses, by the way, Marianne. Yeah. 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 Yes.
Forest Park Mayor says when all this money is given to transportation improvements, he also needs money for security. That's a stop-off spot. He has lots of calls to that area. Does Springfield have a duty to help the Forest Park Mayor there?
Well, I won't hand it over to the chairman of the Transportation Committee, who happens to be here, but and who's holding hearings on some of this, but broadly on transit. But I absolutely believe that as we look at the reforms that we're making to our transit system, that we need to be addressing the broader question of, why isn't there enough security being provided? And of course, Springfield's going to be a very important part of that. We're not the only funder or the only available partner in that, but certainly we're trying to put together a plan that will make sense for the future and that will keep people safe on public transit. But we've got to make sure we can afford to not just make our current system operate the way it should, but also build it, because we need more, not less, public transit.
Might this have been a crime as we find out that these four are unhoused?
I don't know the details of the investigation, so who knows? It could very well be, but I don't know.
Governor, real quick.
Yes.
The gun law case that I referenced in my first question to the Rockford case, are you going to appeal that judge's ruling, or is that up to you?
That's not up to me. It's up to the Attorney General, although, we'll have to have some discussions about the best way forward in order to protect people as a result of that ruling.
Governor, 1 week from tonight will be the Harris-Trump debate. What are you doing in the week ahead for the campaign?
Well, if they need me to stand in the debate, I'd be happy to. No, trust me, that is not a debate I would like to stand in on. But what will I be doing? I mean, I'm leading up to that debate. Well, as you know, I was in New Hampshire over the weekend supporting the Harris-Walz ticket. I've got a number of obligations along that line. I still have to do the job of being governor, and so I'm focused on that mostly. But wherever I can, I've been, helping to get the word out, particularly in swing states, to make sure that because we've got to beat Donald Trump and we've got to elect Kamala Harris, and she is the best person for the job. So I'm really thrilled to have the opportunity to do those things. But we can go through what the potential visits are. But they call me sometimes, the day before or the same day to go on a program on national television for them as a surrogate, or to go speak on their behalf. And so I'll be doing all of those things. And I will say, I have said over the last couple of days, and I'll continue to say it, I do not think this debate is going to be some easy endeavor for Kamala Harris. I think, she's a good debater. There's no doubt. But Donald Trump has won debates too. And he tends to be a bully on stage. And some people read that as strength, I guess. But he is a person who, frankly, has no respect, particularly for women. I think we've seen that in everything about that man. And he has zero respect for people of color. And so I think that it'll be a hard debate, and I think everybody ought to watch that debate, because I think it'll be important for Kamala Harris to project who she is. She's a person of integrity. She's somebody who's lived through a lot that has made her a strong person. And she's demonstrated, I think, in her policies as well as throughout her life, that she will be a tough, fair, smart, great president. Thank you.
Thank you.